For the most realistic steering system available on the market, look no further than Sim Steering from Leo Bodnar. Designed and hand-built at the home of British Motorsport's Silverstone circuit, it's extensively used by professional driver training centres and race teams including Formula 1 since 2010. The high precision and completely linear response coupled with high strength provides the ultimate in realistic steering force feedback. Visit simsteering.com.
Take your hobby to the next level with a quality racing rig that works great with a PS3, Xbox 360, and a PC. GT Omega Racing Simulator is compatible with a wide range of steering wheels including Logitech, Fanatec, Thrustmaster, and more. The GT Omega is available now worldwide by going to www.gtomegaracing.com.
Good evening iRacers and welcome to the Skip Barber 2K Cup from Apex Racing TV. We are at round one of the first full season of this Skip Barber 2K Cup and we are at Lime Rock Park. My name is Lee Thompson and joining me in the commentary box as normal is Conrad Venter. Evening Conrad.
Good evening Lee, how are we doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm looking forward to what is going to be an absolutely packed Lime Rock Park with 44 slots, I believe, currently taken on the grid in this very short little lap. We're expecting the guys to be qualifying somewhere in the 57-second region. That's going to be a lot of cars to fit in a small little space.
Yeah, we've got 43 cars at the moment, and they're all covered by about a second and a half. And like you said, it's a very short track. It is going to be action-packed.
We've got just a minute and a half or so left of their practice session, and then they're going to begin a 5-minute qualifying session consisting of 3 laps that they have to attempt their qualifying, just single car on track at a time, and then after that we'll be ready for our feature race of 44 laps around this this Lime Rock Park that for most, if not all iRacers, sorry, has got to be very familiar, of course, being one of the first tracks surely that most of us have ever driven on in this service.
Yeah, I know, it's the very first track that I did when I drove on when I joined iRacing in the MX-5, and despite the track looking fairly simple, it's got a couple of tricky bits. And I fully expect a couple of the competitors tonight to be caught out by it as well.
Yeah, it's very bumpy all the way around, and a great little elevation change as you head towards turn 5 and then through turn 5. So yeah, lots of places in the track where the car can just get a little bit unsettled maybe. But it seems like a good little match for this little Skip Barber car. These little lightweight, relatively low power cars, able to keep up a good bit of momentum through the second half of the circuit in particular, so turns sort of 5, 6, 7. Very fast corners in these cars, but say bumpy, and you've got to be careful on the curbs as well.
Yeah, I think it's a track that's got a little bit of everything. You've got turn 1, which is their heavy braking zone, which leads directly into turn 2. And then there was sort of a continuous corner, and you've got turn 3 and 4, which is the twisty bits as well.
Right, so the practice session is now complete. The cars are now beginning their outlap now for their first of 3 qualifying laps that they're able to put in. In that practice session, Stein Shorthurst got the fastest time with a 57.484, so that's going to be the target for everyone from qualifying. With then familiar names from the pre-season that we had over the last few weeks of Sebastian Job in second and Vinicius Rocha in third, so just a few hundredths of a second split in those, well, not just those first few cars, but as you continue looking down, in fact, in practice session, it's just hundredths between every car. The overall pole position currently in the official series, which are running same track and the same weather, is currently Sebastian Job, who managed 57.398 in the official qualifying for the official iRacing series. So it'll be interesting to see how close the guys manage to get to that marker just in those 3 laps.
Yeah, it's not really a qualifying session where you can sit around and wait for the other guys to see what they're going to do. You've only got 5 minutes and the 3 laps. You've got to get out there and do your business. And then preparation time going into the race is going to be fairly short as well. You've only got the 2 minutes or the 1 minute from the end of qualifying to get onto the grid. And then it's lights out. It's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, very quick turnaround in this little series. So for those guys that do finish at the sharp end of qualifying, they'll get a little points bonus towards their championship standing. So pole position will receive a 10-point bonus, second place will get a 5, and third place will get a 2-point bonus. The points for the feature rates itself, top 32 finishers all receive points, starting at 50 points for the winner, and then working its way down incrementally after that. So yeah, getting a qualifying result, getting a fastest lap will get you 5 points as well. That could all make a fair chunk of a difference come the end of the series. Just the same as making sure you're not getting too many incidents during the race as well, because you'll get 2 penalty points to your championship standings for every incident over 6 that you manage. So yeah, a little detail like that can make a big difference at the end of this, or what will be a 13-week season, but with 4 drop rounds available. So it'll be the best 9 out of 13 results that will count for this series.
Yeah, you're really gonna have to check yourself. It's something that we've seen in hosted sessions before, is guys not really respecting the track limits and exploiting the little bits of the track where they know they're not going to get penalized for going off track. But of course that's not going to happen in this series, because like you mentioned, with the penalty points, if you're going to be doing that.
So the opening salvo of their qualifying times have been put in. So currently in a provisional pole position is Philip Leibert, who's managed a 57.86 in his first attempt, with Kevin Vaughan then just 10th behind with a 57.945. So it'll be interesting to see how much closer down the guys are able to work themselves. There's a good few attempts left in there if they can really nail a extremely clean lap, which is a big ask just in these 3 laps that they've got available.
I think we can expect some of the guys like Sebastian Job, Brooke Alatalo, to maybe challenge that top spot on the grid. 57.8. We saw guys going about 4/10s quicker in the practice sessions.
I wonder how much those times of practice maybe were affected by the draft a little bit as well. So be interested to see if they do manage to get quite down to that same level. Philip Leibert's put down another marker on his next attempt with a 57.7, so he's nearly a 10th and a half ahead now of Kevin Vaughan, just replaced by Sebastian Job now in second, 10th between the two still.
Yeah, it's really close at the top. You've got the top 10 guys covered by 3/10 of a second. Yeah, I think somebody mentioned before the race that a 10th of a second can sort of cost you 10 places on the grid, and that's exactly what we're seeing at the moment.
So I think most, if not all, of the cars now are going to be on their final lap that they have available of 3. And as I watch Sebastian Job come through the final section of the circuit, coming through the final corner just in a moment, and we'll see if he's able to improve on his current 3rd spot that he has on the grid. And I think Sebastian John must have gotten off track on the final corner, because then the session ended before he reached the finish line. So looks like we have a pole position then to Philip Leibert. So congratulations, Philip. 10 bonus points to his championship. That 57.708 did hold that position for him. Finishing a second then was Mike Matheson, just a 10th behind. Sebastian Job 0.02 of a second slower in 3rd. Then Kevin Vaughan in 4th. Dominic Brennan in 5th. Riku Alatalo in 6th. Simon Hulbert in 7th. Vinicius Rocha in 8th. You'll maybe be slightly disappointed at. He's been right up the sharp end in a little pre-season that we've had. P9 is Mattia Brancini. P10 is Timo Horteri, sorry. 11th was Tim Adcock. 12th was Matt Defoe. 13th was Stein Shorter, so he got the fastest time in practice, so he is almost right down in the midfield there, so he'll be a bit disappointed perhaps with his qualifying attempt. David Hayes then in 14th, Sibolks Ferher in 15th, Fahim Antonades in 16th, Bart Delat in 17th, Vai in 18th, Victor Nandez in 19th, Ricardo Ferreira in 20th, Mike McCormick in 21st, Christian Manzini in 22nd, Bill Lawrence 23rd, George Wiseman 24th, Cesar Tabor 25th, Sebastian Taper 26th, Enzo Cantor 27th, Marco Derricks 28th, LJ Garnett 29th, Daniel Pelez in 30th, Victor Ansenzio in 31st, Rich Jones 32nd, Clive Armstrong 33rd, Graham Carroll 34th, Mark Font in 35th, Javier Casas in 36th, Leroy Coppedge in 37th, Ludovic Perez in 38th, Tapani Hakna in 39th, Karthik Pai in 40th, Carlos Casas in 41st, nearly there, Fran Castillo 42nd, and Adward Cavalier in 43rd. Just get through before the lights go green. What massive grid do we have? Right, so lights go green, and it looks like a pretty clean start from the field at the front, and the position is held still by Philip Labour as he heads towards turn 1.
Yeah, we're going to see a huge concertina effect going into turn 1. Everybody is behaving themselves fairly well. Right back to about 30th place. They have all gone through cleanly through turn 2 as well.
Alright, great job from the guys there to get through the opening corners there. So Philip Labour still in that first position, and then we have... My screen jumps about a bit, sorry. So then we have Sebastian Job just in third position, with Mike Matheson in second, Kevin Vaughan in fourth, Rico Alatello fifth, Dominic Brennan in sixth. I think Dominic just lost out of position in this opening lap.
Yeah, I think apart from that little switch around, everybody is sort of where they started as we come to the end of lap 1. Yeah, Sebastian Job having a little look, and I think it was mentioned beforehand as well that just sitting in the draft you can save quite a bit of fuel, around about 10%.
Yeah, and that's going to be pretty critical, because they've got an enforced pit stop they have to make, haven't they? So they had a couple of choices to how much fuel they could start with, but no matter which choice they got, they will have to make a pit stop for fuel at some point in the race.
Yeah, we've seen before as well that the longer you can run, obviously the more advantage you can gain through that. So even if you can just eke out that extra little lap, that should help you. As Kevin Vaughan is having a look up the inside of Sebastian Job, he's put himself in a very compromising position coming into the last turn. They're too wide with Rico Alatello, and Rico makes the move stick around the outside.
Yeah, so that attempt by Kevin Vaughan and on Sebastian Job didn't really work out, as shuffling down the pack now. As I think there was a big incident further back in the field on the back straight. We'll bring a replay up of that and see what happens shortly, hopefully.
Yeah, Rich Jones is in the pit along with Mike McCormick, so I expect they were involved in that.
And so Kevin Vaughan did manage not to lose any further positions, just to Rico Alatello. So Kevin Vaughan now in 5th, Dominic Brennan just behind in 6th, Finishes Rocha trying to make his way a little bit further to the sharp end in 7th, Mattia Brancini in 9th, and Simon Hallbert is 9th, Mattia was in 8th, and then Timo Hodray is in that final 10th spot in the top 10. So after the little bit of squabbling with Kevin Vaughan and Rico Alatello, the top 3 are just trying to make a little bit of a breakaway now, as they are maybe just getting close to breaking the draft effect that Rico Alatello is going to have with a big group behind. As I watch Kevin Vaughan under pressure from Dominic Brennan, so Dominic Brennan has got the inside line coming through turn 2, but Kevin Vaughan is going to have that back for turn 3, and looks like manages to hold that position. Finishes Rocha looks to capitalise as well and just sneak his nose up the inside, but not quite able to progress forward yet.
Yeah, it's looking like if you're thinking about making a move for an overtake, you have to be sure it's going to stick. If you don't pull it off, you're going to put yourself in a bit of a vulnerable position by the cars behind you.
So this is really a big old train of cars that we've got here, from 5th position Kevin Vaughan all the way back to Fahim Antonades, who's in fact a lap down actually, but adding to that draft effect as I look at almost half the field heading down that front straight all in one line.
Yeah, it's quite the first couple of laps has been full of little gaggles. We've got a last car on the lead lap at the moment is George Wiseman, and he's already sort of 44 seconds behind. So it's not going to be long before the leaders catch up to them, and then they're going to have another little issue to contend with, making their way through the back markers.
Yeah, so this track almost feels just like a big oval circuit of right-handers with just a one left-hand corner of turn 3 at the beginning of a lap. It'll be interesting to see if they maybe struggle with sort of differences in tyre wear or tyre temperature as they go through the race. Everyone's still adapting to the new build, of course, where maybe the tyres are much more sensitive to temperature and can overheat very easily and cause you lots of little problems with lockups maybe, and trying to, well, I was going to say getting on a power. I can imagine that's maybe not quite such much of an issue in his little Skip Barber cars.
Yeah, I think I don't think you're really going to have a problem with wheel spin coming out of corners and that type of thing. But I mean, definitely cornering is a bit of an issue, as we're looking at Rick Alatello having a little moment coming out of there, turn 7, I think it is.
Yeah, and that caused a little bit of a logjam then behind, but they managed all to shuffle themselves back into single file again. So Rick Alatello having a big moment coming through turn 5, it just about manages to keep it out of the wall. As I watch Sebastian Job look to make a move for second position as they head into turn 1, Sebastian Job up the inside, and as long as he can get the car slowed down enough, he is up into second position, looking to challenge then Philip Labert in that first still.
We've got a big train of cars behind them as well. Everybody sort of from 5th down to Simon Hilbert's running in 8th, Branchini running in 9th. There's about 7 or 8 of them, line astern, coming down the back straight.
Yeah, at the front of that queue is Riku Alatello, and at the back of the queue at the moment is Tino Hodroy. So it'll be interesting to see how long this block of cars all stays together and how long they all manage to stay pointing the right way, as I watch basically every single one of those cars clip the grass well and truly on the exit of the corner there.
Yeah, it must be really frustrating if you're sitting behind somebody else, and I mean, they're in a battle, so lap times are going to be a little bit slower, and all you're seeing in front of you is the gap opening up.
And all I'm seeing in front of me is almost the cars full wide from 11th position, sorry, down into sort of 15th or so. Just about manages to shuffle themselves out. So I see a little bit of contact actually, just as I say that, between, and we have a little spin as well, half spin in turn 2, and that is going to be Jory Vai, who I think got a little bit of a tap from behind, or actually may have been doing the tapping himself. And yeah, unfortunately had a little half spin and put himself out of the battle for 11th position there.
I was just sort of having a little look down the field. LJ Garner has made his way from 29th position at the start up to 22nd. So he's benefited a little bit from the one of those crashes going on in the opening laps.
And Matt Defoe is defending hard into turn 1. Almost contact I thought there was going to be there between Matt Defoe and Tim Adcock, but Matt Defoe just about manages to retain that inside line through turn 1, as then Tim Adcock gets a big tap from behind from, I think, a Stein Schottshurst, who manages to move into that position for the now, so that'll be 12th position that he's moved into. But yeah, Tim Adcock and him got a big old whack on the side, but I think it was wheel to wheel. They should have got away with it without any damage, I hope, for them.
Tim Adcock looks like he's just got a bit of damage on the side pod, but I don't think it's really anything that's gonna hamper the performance of the car.
And jumping back to the leaders, I am seeing Sebastian Job in 1st position. So Sebastian Job into 1st, and Philip Labert has been relegated into 2nd, and we're missing completely who was in 3rd. Was that, it wasn't Kevin Vaughan, it was Mike Matheson, I think. So, yeah, he has disappeared. We'll find out what's happened to him.
That's kind of a shame we missed that one. I'm just trying to find his name on the race standings at the moment.
And so that's promoted now Riku Alatalo up into 3rd position, who is getting caught gradually by the pack behind now. Led now by Vinicius Rocha, so Vinicius has managed to move his way up through that little pack slightly, getting a bit close to the sharp end where we've seen him in the previous races, as we said.
Oh, we've got a couple of names in here tonight that we haven't seen before, or I haven't seen before in the previous practice races. But the front runners they're all kind of familiar to us. We've definitely seen them race before, so we know what they're capable of.
So I'm seeing Mike Matheson down in 10th position. So looks like he must have had a little excursion onto the grass at some point. That would be my guess. Not seeing any obvious damage, so hopefully he'll be able to recover and maybe even catch that pack of cars ahead, led by Riku Alatalo in 3rd.
Rico is certainly doing a very good job of keeping those guys behind them, and yeah, maybe something we can come up with future races. This is the Rico train. Well, Mike Matheson's definitely going to have his work cut out, working his way through that pack when and if he catches up to them.
And it looks like that from sort of 10th position back, the rest of the field now has really been blown apart. So the last time I scrolled back to sort of 11th, 12th position back to 20th, there was one big pack of cars like there is ahead of him. But they've all strung out now into little pairs and little threes. So I think perhaps there was another incident back there as well that's just blown us apart, or maybe it's cars starting to make their pit stops in that midfield maybe.
Yeah, the guy running in 34th place, Victor Nandez, has just come out of the pits right in front of the Rico train, and that's going to be a tricky situation for Victor. I know it's from speaking from experience. When you come out of the pits and you've got a couple of guys trying to lap you, that's fighting for position as well. You're always nervous about where you're going to let them past, and sort of keeping an eye on how you don't want to lose too much time yourself, but obviously you don't want to do anything stupid that's gonna compromise their races.
Vinicius Rocha defending hard in turn 1 from Kevin Vaughan, trying to hold on to his 4th position. Managed to succeed from that. In fact, it puts maybe Kevin a little bit more under pressure from there's a back marker, gets him away of me scrolling through. That'll be Simon Hulbert, sorry. So Kevin Vaughan now under that little bit of pressure from Simon, trying to break into that top 5.
Yeah, 33rd place Ferrer just ran wide coming out of turn 2, went onto the grass, and it looks like yeah, he's disconnected. So that's race over for him, unfortunately.
I see Riku Alatalo having another, well, what looked like a big moment from the outside, exiting turn 5, and that's maybe just allowed Vinicius to get a little bit more of a run on him down this front straight. I don't think it's quite going to be enough to really challenge into turn 1, but if you keep pressuring him, then maybe, as I see Vinicius maybe make a late dive up into turn 1, but no, he just takes that inside line, trying to distract Riku maybe into braking a little bit late, and takes a tighter line all the way through really, but Vinicius didn't gain anything. He lost a little bit of momentum and is straight back under pressure again from Kevin Vaughan behind.
Yeah, it's a difficult one for him. He's obviously looking at making a move on Alatalo, but at the same time, it looks like he's just making little changes to his line going into turn 2 and 3, just to take that little bit of a tighter line, not to put himself in a vulnerable position from Kevin Vaughan as well.
See, this Riku train now is really catching up with the back markers as well. They're going to have to deal with, as you pointed out a minute ago. So we've got Riku Alatalo in 3rd, Vinicius Rocha 4th, Kevin Vaughan 5th, Simon Hulbert 6th, Dominic Brennan 7th, and Mattia Brancini in 8th position. As I see now, somebody looking to make a move. I think that's going to be Simon, just about making the position on Kevin Vaughan. Kevin Vaughan had a big sideways moment, trying to stay out of the way, I think, as much as anything else. I don't think there was contact between the two, but Kevin Vaughan's a big loser there. Simon Hulbert up into 5th position now.
Labour is really making use of the draft as well at the moment. His last 3 laps has all been 57.49, 57.63, and a 57.48, which is the fastest lap of the race so far. Oh, and Sebastian Job has lost it coming out of the last corner, and he's into the pits.
That is maybe not going to work out too bad for him. So he wasn't able to keep it out the tyre wall, so he definitely took damage taking it into the tyre wall, but it brought him straight into pit entry, and they do get 1 fast tow in this series, I believe. So he might get away with not losing as much time as he might have there. Could be a very, very lucky boy.
Yeah, sort of forcing the pit stop there, but for his sake, I hope he comes out of the pits with a bit of clean air in front of him. That's definitely something needed, and that from the lead as well. And he's out again. It will be interesting to see where he feeds back in.
And I see Dominic Brennan coming through turn 5 under lots and lots of pressure from Mattia Brancini as they head through the penultimate corner. Mattia just needs to really focus on getting the good exit out of this final corner and have that opportunity then into turn 1. He takes a little bit of an inside curb maybe, and gets the toe down that main straight, but then so does Dominic to Simon Hulbert ahead. So in fact Dominic may be the car looking to make the move on Simon, and he does. He manages to brake later into turn 1. If he can hold that line, he has moved up then into 4th position for Dominic Brennan. Simon Hulbert sandwiched between those 2 cars now in 5th. Now here contact. I think was just a bat marker that is in the grass, but hopefully not affecting a car on the lead lap with a bit of luck.
I'm seeing quite a few sparks every now and again from coming through through the last corner. I'm wondering how much compression these cars are having, because it is lying in a bit of a dip, and how much that is affecting the handling of the car.
The Dominic Brennan now is going to be under lots and lots of pressure again from Simon Hulbert. In fact, Simon has maybe a bit of understeer mid-corner maybe, and he now is actually going to come under pressure from Mattia, who's going to have that inside line braking into turn 1. Simon tries to go a bit wider to try and hang on the outside or to cut back for turn 2, but Mattia now takes that 5th position.
Yeah, just a little update for you as well. That little mistake by Sebastian Job has put him way back into 23rd place. He has, of course, now made his pit stop. I think he's going to have to run on those. He's going to have to run a stint a lot longer than he was planning on, and at the beginning of the race. So say that he's just overtaken Montanov Font for 21st place.
So Philip Labour is about to complete lap 18. We'll have a quick run through the top half of the field and their standings. So yeah, P1 then is Philip Labour, capitalising on that error from Sebastian Job before. Rico Alatalo now in 2nd. Vinicius Rocha in that final podium spot in 3rd. Dominic Brennan then 4th, with Mattia Brancini in 5th. Simon Hulbert in 6th. Kevin Vaughan recovering from a little half spin he had, I think it was at turn 1, in 7th. Mike Matheson recovering from his error that we missed off camera in P8. P9 then is going to be Stain Shorthurst, who was that car who got the fastest time in practice. Matt Defoe then in 10th, Bart Delat 11th, David Hayes in 12th, 13th is Ricardo Ferrer, and 14th is our very own LJ Garnett, as I watch him have a big slide coming out of turn 3. 15th then is Christian Mancini. 16th is Bill Lawrence, who actually, as I watch him, he just about avoids the car as he recovers after a spin. So Clive Armstrong now is up into 16th, Bill Lawrence in 17th, Victor Ancensio in 18th, Ludwig Pernes in 19th, and 20th spot is Sebastian Job, having made that pit stop. He is running a second lap quicker than the cars around him, so he really needs to be able to get through this traffic cleanly if he wants to not have his race well and truly scuppered, as he almost runs into the back of the car ahead for the penultimate corner. But if he can get a run around the outside of his final corner, always just about hangs onto the edge of the track, then managed to get through 3 cars in about 3 corners.
It's such an easy little track for you to get caught out on. Like I mentioned before, from the layout it looks very simple, but it's a very bumpy track, and you really gotta be careful not to take too many liberties coming through these corners, because it will catch you out. And like we saw with Sebastian Job, it will spit you into the pit lane when you least expect it. And another little point about his pit entry as well, we just have to see maybe possible black flag for him for an unsafe pit entry. He did miss the cone which marks the entry to the pit, as he was well, we can say spinning into the pits with that mistake he made.
Well, fingers crossed for him, he escaped that. But looking back at the little trainer cars from Riku Alatello's, again, Riku seems to slide coming out of turn 5. Perhaps he's pretty comfortable doing that. Maybe our closest little grouping in that spot is Mattia Brancini defending now from Simon Hulbert. They seem to be changing position pretty much every lap as they head into turn 1, the last few attempts. But not this time, because Simon Hulbert runs extremely wide out of the final corner, kicking up a big plume of dust, and he's going to have to wait for at least another up to try and challenge that 5th spot again.
Yeah, that Rico trainer has broken up a bit now. Oh, Dominic Brennan is off the track. Did he have a collision with somebody? Enzo Cantor off the track at the same corner, and he's running in 28th place. But yeah, that definitely cost Brennan. And it would have been a real shame for him, as that last lap he did was his fastest lap as well. That, of course, is all in vain now.
Yeah, so we're starting to see a few damaged cars sort of limping around the track now, and yeah, again, this is a small little track with a lot of cars to deal with, those slow moving ones as well, so hopefully everyone's able to keep their wits about them and not get tangled up too much, I hope.
Yeah, we're over halfway now, and like I said, all those little trains and groups has gotten a little bit smaller. So this is really where some of the quicker guys that might be a little bit further back than they thought they would be can start really challenging for places without being put under pressure from behind, and start carving their way up through to the front.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how much longer we have to wait until we start to see some scheduled stop from the lead cars. I think we've seen lots of cars in the pit lane so far, but the majority of them probably are for damage, or maybe not quite at the sharper end of the field. I'll scan back down the front straight as I see a move developing as they head into turn 1. That I think is going to be Dominic Brennan again and Kevin Vaughan. It is. Dominic Brennan moves up or holds on to 7th position, but he had the inside line coming into turn 1, and he did make that move in fact, so he's into 6th, and Kevin Vaughan is relegated into 7th. He's going to be under pressure next from Mike Matheson, looking to recover from his incident earlier on.
I've just seen the Alatello group slowly catching up to Philip Leibard as well. I think he's caught a bit of a break with Sebastian Job spinning out earlier, and he's been very comfortable at the back, just sort of pacing himself. But yeah, we lost the last lap or two. Alatello and his company has just been closing the gap ever so slightly, as they do again once more by about a 1/10 of a second.
And I'm looking at the last few laps of Philip Labour and the last few laps of Sebastian Job, and Sebastian seems to be right on it still, so if he can stay clear of too much traffic, then he might not be really losing any ground in this stint, even though he's now back in that was it 17th position the last time we looked.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's sort of a question just of how well you can make your way through the traffic right now. Even though Sebastian Job's got to overtake people. Philip Labard, Rick Alatello, and Vinicius Rocha. They've got to work their way through lap traffic as well. So they're going to be losing time too.
And again, I'm watching Dominic Brennan battling with Kevin Vaughan again. So Dominic Brennan into turn 1. He retakes the position again from Kevin Vaughan. So they must have swapped around between when I last looked as well.
Oh, we have Vinicius Rocha and Rick Alatello battling for second place. Coming down the back straight, it looks like Alatello's managed to keep hold of that place.
Yeah, they really were nose to tail coming down the front straight, but Riku's just managed to pull a little bit of breathing space, probably as much gap as he's had for the last 10 laps or so in the second half of the circuit there.
And we've got another Rich Jones, 34th place, into the pits, and he is joining a couple of other guys that Victor Asensio making a pit stop, and just coming back out on track as well with Tapani Haka. This is really difficult bit of this track is where the pit exit is located. You come out of the pits and you're straight into turn 1, and you've got cars coming from behind at full pelt. So we'll go have your wits about you and have good spatial awareness to know where to how aggressive you can be out of the pits going into that turn, considering the traffic that's coming from behind.
And so Vinicius Rocha has had a better second half to the last lap, looking to close on Riku Alatello, but Riku's going to have a little bit of draft from the back marker ahead, and we'll see if he manages to clear him through this tight, twisty section first half of a lap, or whether that's going to now enable Vinicius to have a little bit of a sniff at moving into that second spot. Looking just behind them, Mattia Brancini and Simon Hulbert have caught them massively actually in the last couple of laps. They're almost a 4-car grouping now, and just behind Dominic Brennan's just building a little bit of space to Kevin Vaughan and Mike Matheson, 6th, 7th and 8th.
Yeah, it looks like they got separated from the Riku train through the traffic a little bit earlier on, but it's yeah, looking to make it a 4-car train again. To be honest, they were all going pretty well together, and Sebastian Job just putting in fastest lap of the race with a 57.454. The fastest lap is coming down sort of with a couple of thousandths of a second every now and again.
Yeah, and just to compare on that last lap, Philip Labert in first position got a 57.8, with Riku a 0.7, Vinicius a 0.6, Mattia a 0.6, Simon Hulbert a 0.7. So Sebastian Job may well find himself right back in the mix once these guys finally make their pit stops, which is probably going to be, you know, sort of 10 laps or so. We would think probably no more than that.
Yeah, I think lap 37 is or the pit stop window is anywhere between lap 7 and 37. So depending on how much fuel they could have saved behind each other, I think lap 38 might be the latest that we see the pit stops happening. I mean, yeah, Job definitely, he must be getting really eager for these guys to start coming into the pits. You wanna, if you're putting in the lap times, you want to see some reward for it. And at the moment, I don't think he's going to feel like 14th place is a very big reward for the lap times he's been putting in over the last couple of laps. Oh, Enzo Cantor having a big moment through the last corner. Edward Cavalier leading through the traffic quite nicely down the main straight as well, and we've got a car coming out of the pits. It is manic. You've got guys lapping each other, the others letting others through, people coming out of the pits letting people through that's not on the same lap. I think you'll agree, Lee. This has been quite an interesting race to keep on top of.
Yeah, it looks like an extremely difficult race to try and stay on top of, where you've got all of these extra distractions of whether you're a car being lapped or a car trying to do the lapping. You're not really able to concentrate on your own race, because the whole time you've got to be worrying about, is somebody going to be coming out the pit lane, and where are people going to let you by, especially in that first half of the circuit where it can be fairly tricky to get offline.
That's something sometimes about the shorter tracks that I like. The longer tracks, you especially in the official series we do, you come out, you drive. If you're a midfield runner like myself, you're not really worried about the front runners. But on these shorter tracks, you have to employ a little bit of a different race strategy if you're going to take into consideration about letting front runners through and that type of thing. Now, Enzo Cantor is making it really difficult for Sebastian Job to overtake him at the moment. Enzo Cantor, of course, is a lap down, and it might be something that's not too much appreciated. I mean, Sebastian Job is nearly tagging him coming through turn 3 and 4, and really Cantor should be doing a better job at letting the faster guys through.
Yeah, it looks like Sebastian should be able to get the run into turn 1 now, and hopefully continue on by. Let's see what his lap time is going to be on that one. It's still a good lap, didn't really cost him any time, 57.697, so perhaps it looked worse from the outside than it felt for Sebastian, so he continues on. And back at the Riku train, we are well and truly back into a 4-car grouping now, as Vinicius Rocha is the first car to blink out of the top runners. Vinicius Rocha peels into the pit lane, and everybody else has continued by at the front. As I watch Simon Hulbert, and that's going to be Matthias getting very, very close into turn 1. Mattia Brancini and Simon Hulbert just about managed to escape, but Mattia had a big old sideways moment. I couldn't quite see from the angle whether there was a bit of contact or not. It looks like maybe from his side pod there might have been, but that's Brancini, down into 4th, and Simon Hulbert now up into 3rd position. That's given Rico Alatello a bit of breathing space for now.
Yeah, Rocha's has come out of the pits, and well, he's well clear of Sebastian Job. I think that mistake out of the last corner might have cost Job a lot more time than we initially thought.
And so coming down the front straight, it looks like those first half a dozen runners or so have just spread themselves out a little bit for now, but Kevin Vaughan in 6th is still being hounded pretty consistently by Mike Matheson, who is in 7th. Mike's still trying to recover from running in 2nd position or 3rd position near the beginning of the race. As I hear a bit of contact in the background, or maybe even a blown engine possibly, so we'll see if we notice who that's going to be in a bit. But Philip Leibert at 1st position still looks like he's running strong, as is Rico Alatello in 2nd, and Simon Hulbert in 3rd.
Yeah, well, looking at Rocha's lap times, it's not a very long pit lane, so you lose about 22, 23, maybe 24 seconds to make your pit stop. We'll definitely be looking up the grid, up the positions, see where he might be filtering in once the other guys start jumping into the pits.
Yes, as you correctly identified, Conrad, it looks like Sebastian Job is well and truly out the hunt for the sharp end of the field, those top sort of half dozen positions or so. So the key question is, Vinicius Rocha was the first of those cars to blink with his pit stop, so it'll be very interesting to see where everyone else feeds back into him. So Philip Leibert continues for one more lap, as do the next 4 or 5 cars going through.
I'm a little bit surprised to see one of the front runners jumping into the pits. that early. Yeah, I was fully expecting sort of the top 10, 11, 12 guys to run the car for as long as they possibly could on the fuel that they were allowed. Of course, granting that they didn't stick it into a wall or pick up any damage prior to that. Yeah, we still have Rick Alatello has opened up a little bit of a gap, a 1.3 second gap to Simon Hulbert, and Alatello also reeling in Philip Labert a couple of tenths of a second per lap.
And coming out the final corner, I watched, I think it was going to have been Simon Hulbert have a massive sideways moment coming out the final corner. I think just trying to get himself into pit lane. Manages to gather it back up and does get into pit lane, but it looked very close with Matteo Brancini as he was trying to negotiate his way by. But fortunately, they each survived. So Simon Hulbert in the pit lane, and he exits a couple of seconds or so back from Vinicius Rocha. So I'd say that's probably about even from where they were when they went in, I'd say.
Yeah, Simon Hulbert. that final corner is one that it looks like it forces you to make pit stops whenever it thinks is a good time.
In comes the leader, Philip Labert, into the pits, but I think we've seen Rico Alatello. Yeah, Rico Alatello's got enough fuel to carry on for another lap still. Oh, but he might regret that.
Yeah, as a little incident running into the side of a back marker, that is really unfortunate. Don't know quite what to say about that.
Yeah, just tangled wheels a little bit, but it looks like they both survived to a reasonable degree. Philip Labert comes out of the pits, still the lead car of those who have lapped. Vinicius Rocha is 3.5 seconds back, something like that, I would guess.
I suppose now we know that Rick Alatello is definitely coming in on this lap, and it's just going to be a question now of seeing how much time he lost with that incident with the back marker, and how much time he's going to lose through that fast repair that he's got to wait for as well.
So the only car I'm seeing yet to stop is Dominic Brennan. He's continued by. He's now up into first position. Everybody else has now made their pit stop.
Kevin Bourne in the pits as well, as Alatello is coming out.
Oh, it's going to be very close between Alatello and Philip Labert. Philip Labert going to be around the outside into turn 1, but Rico Alatello has got that position. Rico Alatello has made up a huge amount of time by making that later pit stop, and Philip Labert now was going to be very surprised, I'm sure, to see that purple Glacier TV car in front of him. So this is going to be interesting now to see if Philip is able to do anything about Riku.
Yeah, there was a 2.5 second turnaround as Labert went into the pits. There was a 2.5 second gap between him and Alatello, and then it's a question of in the space of a lap and contact with the back marker, Alatello has managed to turn that around. It just shows it really does pay to run for absolutely as long as the fuel will allow you to do in this car. At the same time, I think Philip Labert might be a little bit annoyed about that, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be looking to make amends in the next couple of laps. There's only 4 laps left in the race, so if he's going to do something, it's going to have to be pretty soon as well.
And so those, just looking at their in and out laps for both of them, those 2.5 seconds from Riku came both on the in and out lap, I would say. So it looks like he gained a second in both of those. So yeah, great job by Riku.
As I take it, Dominic Brennan is yet to make a pit stop. All right.
Yes, Dominic Brennan has yet to stop when I last looked. And I think perhaps by now he has now made his stop, and I think we're just waiting for his position to update. Yes, Dominic Brennan has now made his stop last time by, so he is now into 6th position, it seems. So Rico Alatello then under lots and lots of pressure from Philippe Labert, looking really to regain his first position that he's had for pretty much the whole race, certainly the last 2/3 of it anyway. So that's really where our focus is going to be. Vinicius Rocha, and a little bit of no man's land in 3rd with Simon Hulbert, a couple of seconds back in 4th, Matheus Brancini 5th, Dominic Brennan 6th, Kevin Vaughan in 7th, and Sebastian Job has recovered to 8th position. So he is not a million miles away from Kevin Vaughan in 7th, but with only a few laps left now, that's going to be out of reach, isn't it? So we've got what, 3-4 laps remaining. The eyes are going to be on the front of the field on the leaders, Rico Alatello, Philip Labert. This is really where any position change is going to be coming from.
Yeah, I think it's maybe just going to take a lap or two just for Philip Labert to figure out where he's might be quicker than Alatello, having a little look, and then lap 43, lap 44. That's where the business is going to have to happen.
Yeah, so Riku's managed to just build a little bit of space just in the first half of a lap. Looked fairly clean through turn 5 that time, and he has got a good bit of breathing space now. So he should be, with a clean last couple of corners, he should have a bit of breathing space as they head towards that turn 1. That's really the only clear overtaking spot on the whole circuit. So he looks pretty safe for the next lap, certainly. So just quickly strolling back through the field, the only other possible position change we may have in the future is going to be 23rd and 24th, but otherwise it looks pretty locked out everywhere else, so we can really focus on these front 2 cars.
Yeah, I think that the pit stop has really separated the cars and split them up. The guys who managed to get a good in and out lap has managed to break away or make up a few positions from the people that they were battling initially. And the only other close battle I can see where a positional change might take place might be between Branchini and Brennan, running in 5th and 6th at the moment. There's sort of only 0.8 of a second splitting them.
So the leaders now then are beginning their final lap. Rico Alatello actually is needing to defend from Philippe, so he had a bad final corner. Philippe Labert looking to go around the outside into turn 1. Rico Alatello late and deep on the inside in turn 1. Philippe isn't going to be able to drive around the outside of turn 2 here, so he has to slot in, but he is right on Riku's tail. So yeah, I glanced and saw a good half dozen car lengths between them at least, and come out the final corner. Riku didn't just get the drive out the corner, so Philippe now needs to be right in his gearbox coming off that final corner and pray for an amazing run to the finish line. Finish line is a little way down. He's going to have time coming out of that final corner potentially. So
they're catching up to 1 or 2 back markers as well. Fran Castillo is running in 28th place and about half a second in front of him.
Yes, that's going to give Riku the toe coming out that final corner. So Riku Alatello looks pretty safe. Philippe Labert gives it everything he can, but runs out onto the grass on that final corner. And Riku Alatello, 1st position. Congratulations to Riku. 2nd position, Philippe Labert. He's going to be gutted, I'm sure, to have been leading that pretty much the whole race. Vinicius Rocha then finishes in 3rd. Simon Hulbert in 4th. Matteo Brancini in 5th. 6th position was Kevin Vaughan, sorry. 7th position, Dominic Brennan. 8th position then is going to be David Hayes. 9th position then is Sebastian Job. 10th position is Matt Defoe. 11th is Hai Vai. 12th then is Mike Matheson. So he had a little bit of an issue somewhere towards the end. He was running more in 7th, 8th position last time we looked. 13th is LJ Garnett, I believe. And 14th then was, 13th was Ricardo Ferreira, sorry, and 14th was LJ Garnett. I need to switch now to my actual race results since everyone has now crossed the line. So 14th was LJ Garnett, 15th then was Bart Delat, 16th Christian Manzini, 17th Clive Lawrence, 18th Clive Armstrong, sorry, 18th Bill Lawrence, 19th Victor Nandez, 20th was Tapani Haka, and he was the first of the lapped cars in that 20th position. Timo Horteraven in 21st, George Wiseman 22nd, Mark Font 23rd, Tim Adcock 24th, Michael Derricks 25th, Ludovic Perez 26th, Sebastian Chaper 27th, Fran Castillo 28th, Victor Antonio was 29th, Fahima Antonadez 30th, Carlos Casas 31st, and Kartik Pai 32nd, and Edward Cavalier looked like to be the final runner in 33rd position.
Yeah, we saw guys we missed towards the end of the race with a couple of retirements. Was Mike McCormick, Enzo Cantor, Javier Casas, Rich Jones, who was 18 laps down, and then guys who retired before the halfway point was Stein, Schothorst, Campo Palez, Ferrer, Carroll, Tebo, and Leroy Coppedge.
So that was a pretty frantic end to the race there, with everyone trying to deal with lap traffic and the pit stops. Although it blew most of the field apart a little bit, it really did create that extremely exciting finish between Riku Alatalo and Philip Leibert. So talking about Riku, we have him available in the TeamSpeak, so we'll drag him into the channel and we will get a few words with our race winner of round 1 of the Skip Barber 2K Cup. Good evening, Riku. Congratulations on your first position in the opening round of the Skip Barber 2K Cup. Tell us about your race.
Hey all, and thanks very much. There's only one thing I can say about this series is that I'm very thankful that there's pit stops, because without those I would have never won. But I don't know what's with this track. I started practicing as soon as the session launched, and I noticed that I was a few tenths off pace. That was my story the whole race. Throughout the race I was losing to Philip a tenth or two almost every lap, unless there was some traffic on his side, and I need to figure out what that was. But yeah, there was a gap of about almost 3 seconds when he pitted. I was thinking of coming on the same lap, but luckily for me I didn't. I decided to pit, but there was a back marker in front of me, and he moved to the right, so I thought, well, there's no reason trying to go through him and pit, so I'll go one more lap. And I started sputtering on the last turn, so I was lucky to even manage to go to the pits, and then by some miracle, by attacking the pits really hard and barely avoiding a pit lane penalty, I got into turn 1 with Philip side by side and managed to hold on for the win.
And it looked like it could have been an unlucky choice as well by not making that pit on the lap that you did, because we saw then you had contact with the back marker on that final lap. It looked like it was a bit of wheel to wheel going into turn 1, but you managed to survive at least.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure who it was, but I actually, well, I'll check right now on the replay. Fran Castillo, I have to apologize to him. That was I was in a bit of a hurry, so I made a kind of a questionable pass poorly. So yeah, sorry to him about the contact. But I was in a real hurry to go past Philip, try to beat him in the pits, as well as Vinicius Rocha. He was right behind me as he pitted, so I was hoping to not let him by as well.
How do you guys go about deciding do you want to pit? Is there like a specific strategy you follow, or is it just a question of looking and to see how many laps you can possibly eke out of the fuel that you're allowed?
I actually run iSpeed during the race, and then calculate during the race. I have some friends over at Classy Racing TeamSpeak that give me some fuel calculations for me during the race. So I have iSpeed going, and it gives me the average of 5 laps, and I use that. And then as well, towards the end of the stint, when you have a few more laps of fuel, it's just looking for the right gap when you want to go in, and taking risks like I did by going one extra lap, Philip, and starting to sputter on the last corner.
Oh, that just makes that pit stop and that final lap before you went into the pits all the more impressive by making up a 2.5 second gap to Philip to take the lead when you came out.
Yeah, I was really lucky to not get a speeding penalty in the pits, I really attacked and went as late on the brakes as I possibly could have, or dared to, so to say.
Well, congratulations again then for your race win, Riku. Good points haul of the 50 points there for the win. Next week it looks like the Skip Barber car is at Silverstone Historical Grand Prix. What do you reckon as to that track? We've seen it in the F1 car a couple of times over the seasons. How do you think it will be in the Skippy?
Well, first of all, it'd be much better than the F1 car, but it's kind of similar to Lime Rock if you look at it. The corners are all really fast, only a few slow corners, and it's going to be a lot closer racing. There's not going to be gaps like you saw here at Lime Rock, being first and second being separated by 2.5 at some point in the race. It's because there's a lot more straights, so there's a lot easier to draft, and I think it's going to be a bit more strategical in the sense that, do you want to overtake the guy in front of you, or do you want to stay in this draft and save fuel? But it's going to be a fun track, fast corners, and works for the Skippy really well.
Well, we look forward to seeing you at the sharp end there at Silverstone next week. And Rico, congratulations again, and thank you for providing with the entertainment.
Thank you very much.
Right, next up then we're going to have a quick chat to Vinicius Rocha, who finished in that third position. Made that pit stop a little bit earlier than the rest of the leading cars, and in the end didn't seem to cost him or gain him a huge amount of time perhaps. So good evening, Vinicius. Congratulations on your podium spot in this opening round.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. It was a great race, very nice. I did a bad qualification time. I was starting on 8th position, and I knew that I would have some hard work to do there. And I don't know how I could manage to get 4th. I don't remember, but it was around lap 15 or something like that. And then my strategy was to follow Rico, because I knew he's a very fast, very quick driver. And I did it. Basically all the race, following him. Tried once or twice to pass him, but it's really difficult. He knows how to defend his position very well. So I got stuck behind him. And then around lap 30, something like this, I pit stopped. And I did a bad calculation. Yes, I finished the race with 0.5 gallons my tank. So I could have done a faster pit stop, and maybe I would get in front of them, I don't know. But anyway, thanks for everybody, thanks for broadcasting, thanks for Philippe, and looking forward to the next race. That's it.
Great, well thank you, Vinicius. We look forward to seeing you at Silverstone next week at the sharp end again. We've seen you right at the front in all of those pre-season races, so hopefully for you get a stronger qualifying, and then you'll have a bit of easier time working your way up into that podium spot again. So well done again, and we shall see you about next week, I'm sure.
Thank you, guys. That's it. I hope so to get a better qualifier next one. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, so looks like that was it for our interviews for today. Riku and Vinicius are the only two who joined us. Congratulations to the other podium finisher of Philip Labert, who of course is the series organiser as well. He'll be gutted, I'm sure, having lost out on that that first spot that he had for the majority of the race. We shall see you all then at Silverstone Historic next week. No doubt with an absolutely jam-packed grid. I'm imagining that Silverstone probably has more grid slots available than here at Lime Rock as well. So we're going to see, well, probably getting towards 60 cars, if not 60, I would potentially imagine. So we'll see how the numbers are when they turn out. And if Riku is right, it sounds like we're going to have a real draft fest of a huge train of cars working down those long straights at Silverstone. So I look forward to seeing that. Thank you to Conrad. Thank you for keeping us informed of the goings on in the pack. Yeah, Silverstone sounds like it should be interesting next week. And Conrad.
Yeah, I'm certainly expecting, like Riku said, it's going to be a lot more of draft action going on. So where we expect bigger packs than we did, and closer gaps. And you never know, it might come down to a whole 5, 6, 7, 8 cars all running in front, back, coming together, jumping into the pit, seeing who can come out first.
Right, so we look forward to seeing everyone then at Silverstone next week. It'll be another broadcast from us, Apex Racing TV, for the Skip Barber 2K Cup Round 2 at Silverstone. See you next week.
What is so important about driving faster than anyone else?
A lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing's important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.